Our next guest is Arrow's multitasking father, John Diggle, and New York City Mayor Carter Poole on Blue Bloods. Please give a Phoenix Comicon Fan Fest welcome to the very talented and busy Mr. David Ramsey.
That was nice.
That was great.
Hey, everyone excited about the Super Bowl coming here to, It'll be here in this building too, right? It's gonna be great.
I know, you're gonna visit the 50-yard line and...
Oh yes, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait, can't wait.
Okay,
hey, so... Phoenix, what's happening?
So if anyone didn't see the mid-season finale, you should not be here right now.
Yeah. Did everyone see it? Yeah! You thought we were going to hold back, didn't you?
Nope. So that was a shocking episode. In all the episodes that you've had so far, for you, what has been the most shocking turn of events that you've had?
Most shocking? Phoenix, what's up? Yeah.
It's your show.
All right, well, let's see. The most shocking turn of events? That's tough. There's been a lot of shockers. You know, I think Diggle saves Oliver's life every other episode. It's a requirement. But I won't be helping him in this one.
No.
That's a good question, isn't it? Well, you know, the Arrow hood is like the Batman cowl. Anyone can put it on.
Really? Really?
Not quite really. No, not quite really. But kind of. I mean, it's ultimately it's you know, they have to finish the island. So I mean, everyone knows everything's going to work out. But it's you know something. The first time I saw the mid-season finale was the same time you guys saw it, and I was just like, wow. I mean, they just really went for it. I thought the fight would be more kind of involved a little bit. You know what I mean? Just like a little bit more involved. I mean, he really made Oliver look whack. I mean, it was just bad. It was like you know, it was varsity against the worst JV team ever. You know what I mean? But and then he just didn't pull any punches. I mean, just right off a mountain. So, yeah, I mean, it was brutal. It was brutal, even for us. And I mean, after Steven was done, he was like, it's gonna be killer, Dave. It's gonna be killer, man. And I was like, well, don't tell me anything. I want to see it with everybody else. So it was great. I'm really glad they went for it.
I don't think you want to hear me ask questions. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna try raising hands, and so when you ask your question, if you can stand up and speak very loudly. If we have problems, we do have a mic, but let's try the whole.
Yeah, be bold, be bold.
So right here, right in the front.
There we go.
I know that with Felicity's character, she wasn't necessarily supposed to be a really big part of the show.
Right.
And because of her, they developed it that way. When you went in and auditioned and was trying out, did you know Diggle was going to be this big and this much of a part?
Yeah, you know, that's a very good question. Greg Berlanti, who created the show, saw me on a show called Blue Bloods, right?
Woo!
And yeah, Blue Bloods is great. It's Tom Selleck. I got a great Tom Selleck story too. I'll tell you guys about it later. So he saw me on the show, and they didn't want to pull the trigger. They didn't want to make me a regular yet. They had a lot of people on payroll and didn't want to make me a regular. So he was like, hey, you want to come in and meet on this show we're doing, DC show called The Green Arrow? And I was like, yeah, whatever. And he said, well, listen, there's not much to do in the pilot, but he becomes a very integral part of the team, of the vigilante team. And it really was just kind of me and him and some other people. And he was like, he's going to be the guy. And I was like, fine. But, you know, the show really needed Felicity. And she was really a godsend, really, because, I mean, it was just me and Steven brooding every single week. It was just, I'm gonna go kill him. No, you can't. Life is more important than that, Oliver. You don't know what killing people does to the soul. So thank God for Felicity. She came and brought some light to the foundry. Otherwise, it just would have been, you know. And actually, I mean, to be honest with you, she's just in terms of her personality, her character's kind of more of a fit for the Flash. To be honest with you, just in terms of how they write. But she's needed more where she is on the Arrow. Thank God for her.
Okay, we have this gentleman over here. Over here. Yes.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey, David.
Hey.
Okay, I love you on Arrow 2. You do a really good John Ditto, especially for the pilot. For your other show, how is it working with Tom Selleck?
It's great. Here's the Tom Selleck story. Here it goes. Now, for all you youngsters, you may not know that Tom Selleck used to be a huge television star. And he used to do this show in the 80s called Magnum P.I. down in and he was tremendous. He's still big, but he was tremendously large back then. So people know him for that show, basically, Magnum. So now he shares the limelight a bit on the show with Donnie Wahlberg, and they both are fantastic on the show. So now on the show, let me give you a little backstory. I play the mayor of New York. This is not a small-time character, right? He's the mayor of New York. He's a liberal mayor, young liberal guy coming in, and he's shaking things up. Tom Selleck plays the older, stalwart police commissioner. I'm his boss for all intents and purposes. So yeah, I know it's funny. So in this particular scene, now we're shooting in Harlem in this particular scene right now. The whole show is shot all throughout New York, mostly Brooklyn. We're shooting this particular scene in Harlem. Now in the scene, I'm standing up in front of this brownstone, and I'm wearing my mayoral overcoat, and I have this big long speech. And back at the time, Tom Selleck had back surgery. Before this, he was gingerly walking because his back was really hurting. So before each scene, he would only come out right at his part. He was supposed to be out there in the crowd, but he will come out only when he has a line. So he's not out yet. There's about 75 people, all mixed ethnicities. It looks like New York, right? So I'm talking, I'm doing my mayoral stuff, and they're like, yeah, some spattering of applause, some boos, you know, he's the mayor. Tom Selleck walks around the corner to come do his part. All of a sudden, I swear to God, 150 over 50-year-old black women from every brownstone around runs out screaming, "Mano! Mano!" They're screaming, right? And I'm like, I'm the mayor of New York. And they're screaming. He signs every single one of their autographs. And it's awesome. And I'm like, wow, the mustache still does it for the ladies. I can grow a mustache.
You get people yelling at you.
Thank you very much. I'm like, Tom Selleck, you ain't got a six-pack though, baby. You ain't got a six-pack. Tom Selleck.
Sir, we had a hand right
There's
here.
your Selleck story.
There you go. That's a great Selleck story. Sir?
First of all, I just want to say, congratulations on having a TV character become a comic book character.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. And listen, that's really because of you guys. That's really, you guys wrote in and they really listen to social media. So if you want Jon Stewart, let them know.
Well, I just wanted to ask now that Diggle's suddenly unemployed, is he going to work for Palmer?
That's funny.
Oh.
No. I'm not going to work for Palmer. But it's interesting because just getting a little bit to that point. There's a lot of stuff that's going to come out because Oliver's going to be gone for a while. Obviously, I mean, if you saw the finale,
For a while.
he's going to be gone for a while. And but you'll see him during the show because they have a very good storyline in terms of what's going to happen and how he ultimately makes a return. And but during that time, Starling City will be under the protection of the fragmented Team Arrow and the upcoming Black Canary, and they aren't quite sure what they want to do yet with Adam but with the atom in term. But you guys saw the exoskeleton already, right? You saw it? Wasn't that awesome? And so yeah, but there'll be there's a lot of bonding. What's funny? I got a little story about this too. I got stories. I'm full of stories. And you know, when Steven left, because he left the Foundry, so we had to do like 4 or 5 or whatever episodes. It was me and Katie and Colin and Colton and Emily, and we're in the Foundry, and we have, you know, and we're going out and fighting crime, and we're by ourselves. So there was a real bonding period just with the 4 of us without Steven. So Steven now just recently came back. We're now shooting the episodes now, right? And you know, this isn't a secret. You know, so he comes back, and what's funny is there was a moment where me, Colton, and Emily are talking. And we've been doing what we've been doing for the past 5 episodes, we're just cracking jokes and banter and just ha ha ha, we're just having fun, blah blah. And then Steven, bless his heart, Steven kind of said something to kind of get in on the conversation. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, and blah blah blah, right? And we all go. Yeah, he's back. So it was just interesting, just kind of that void without him. You guys will feel it as you're watching. I mean, obviously you will still see Steven, but it's just the writers are very smart. There's very good writing on the show, and I think all of this starts with the writing. I mean, we do what we do as actors, but we can't do any of it without the